My name's Rachel, and in this video, we're going to cover the on-screen controller in Sisu Lab. With the on-screen controller in Sisu Lab, you are able to control the robot motion, focus, iris, zoom motors, the joints on the robot, and the track all within the user interface with a tablet or a connected mouse and keyboard on the screen. And so to open up the on-screen controller, you have two options. One, you can select the robot joint mode button now at the bottom of the screen, and you can see the on-screen controller. You can also use the right button on your wand to open this as well. One of the things you'll notice is that the focus, iris, and zoom control, which was on the joint mode page, is now in this on-screen controller in Sisu Lab. Similar to how you move the focus, iris, and zoom before, you can scroll up and down on your wand to move the focus, or you can use the on-screen controller to press increase or decrease focus, and then press and hold to move your focus. So you can see in the video, as I decrease focus, Weston will come into focus. With the joints, it has changed to now operate where instead of squeezing and holding the trigger, you can use the wand to do up and down on the joystick to increase or decrease the joints after you press and hold the enable button. You can also use the on-screen controller to select the direction and then press and hold to move. All right, and then lastly, with the track, same interface. You can squeeze the enable button on your tablet, select to increase or decrease, and then press and hold to move. Now we will cover robot live motion with the on-screen controller. We still have your camera frame of reference and your robot or your crane frame of reference. And so first, with the crane frame of reference, currently with the on-screen controller, it will assume that you are facing the same direction as your robot. So the tail and the cables on the robot are facing you when you are operating. And now, to move, I will go ahead in the user interface and squeeze my enable button, and if I hit up, it will move the camera up to translate, down, right, left, and then similarly, you can push in and push out. With the rotation, this is in the crane frame of reference as well, it'll be that same operation. Squeeze and holding the enable button, panning, and then you'll have the roll left and roll right operations as well. Now, I'm going to switch over to the camera frame of reference. With the camera frame of reference, this gives you camera point of view control. So it is going to move your camera, depending on your camera tool, in the correct direction based on your camera. So for example, I have a top mount camera, and when I select to roll right, it is going to roll my camera to the right, and then roll my camera to the left. And again, this is a press and hold on those buttons. So I'm gonna quickly switch over to my crane frame of reference so I can boom to the right, truck to the right a little bit so you can see on our mannequin here what is happening with my camera. So you can also see here, I'm gonna use tilt up and tilt down. Switching back over to the camera frame of reference, I can tilt up, and you'll see we're just tilting up with that camera, tilt down as well. So again, you can go between the camera frame of reference and the crane frame of reference and simply squeeze the enable button and then press and hold any of these buttons for translation, rotation, in order to move the robot. You'll also notice, for example, when I turn on horizon lock, that the roll left and roll right buttons are disabled on the user interface. Next, we're going to cover actually using the on-screen keyboard and combining it into your workflow. So with the on-screen controller, you can actually still use the wand and the on-screen controller at the same time. So for example, I want to move a little bit to the right here to get a little bit wider on, and back to move a little bit wider on Weston. but he's not centered in frame anymore. So I'm actually gonna switch on over and really quickly pan to the left with the on-screen controller. So this allows me to kind of use that on-screen controller from my camera point of view, look at my monitor, make sure I've got the right frame. I'm gonna set that keyframe. Now I'm gonna quickly pop on up, maybe use the wand for making the second point, and it looks pretty good. So it looks pretty good. Let me just quickly run the program, see what I've made. Looks pretty good. I didn't quite set my focus marks, and that's okay. But the director comes over and wants me to touch up this last keyframe so I'm closer onto that Sisu logo. So I can really quickly go to location here. Ooh. And once I go to location, it's really simple for me to just come in here and use the robot controller to adjust my pan a little bit to the right and tilt up a little bit and pop on over to Fizz. Increase my distance there, and I am good to update my point. So you can really work in a combination of the wand and the on-screen controller, or you can actually hook up a mouse onto the screen as well and use the enable button and a mouse with the on-screen controller to move your robot without the wand entirely.